everybody. My name is Rick Silva. If you said things like, the networking group I'm in, I'm not getting much out of it. The networking group I'm in costs too much. It meets too early. It meets too often. They want to go back to face-to-face meetings when COVID's under control, and I really like doing virtual, and I want to be in a virtual group. There aren't the right type of professionals in my current networking group. If you're saying things like that and many other things, then I can definitely help you, and we'll get into more detail on that. Okay, so what we're going to cover, here's the agenda. What we're going to cover is what's a networking group, because there are going to be people watching this who don't even know what a networking group, a referral group, or a leads group. That's the name. Just kind of off topic, wasn't going to talk about this, but I will, because I hate the term leads group. I hate leads. I don't work with leads in my real estate business or in my networking business. I don't like leads. So I call it a networking group or a referral group. You're very rarely going to hear me call it a leads group. So we're going to talk about what a networking group is, tell you a little bit about who I am. If you're going to have me help you start a group, you might as well know who I am and my background. Some of you only know me from land banking, but I've been doing networking for 17 and a half years. Talk about why you're here, what makes my groups different, and then go into a little bit of detail on how we can work together. So what's a networking group? Some of you have never even seen one before. So this is what they used to look like. This is a one person per industry hard contact networking group. If you've ever heard of BNI or LaTip or B2B gathering, this is what a networking group used to look like. Now, where mine have always been different is, you'll notice this is a professional conference room. This is not in a restaurant. Restaurants are too distracting. Restaurants cause the price of the groups to be way too high. Professional meetings should not have food. So that's where mine were always different. And now they're really different. Now this is what a networking group looks like. And this is where I know there's a lot of big companies out there that are looking to go back to face-to-face meetings. I got news for you. This is the future. So I was talking to a few attorneys. This is the group that just happened this morning, by the way. So there's another look at what a networking group looks like. That's the before, that's the now. So I was talking to an attorney, and about 25%, 25 or 30% of all Americans right now are going to refuse to take the vaccine for COVID. So the attorney was saying, if you run a networking group, and I used to run mine only in the Chamber of Commerce, but if you run a networking group in the Chamber of Commerce and someone gets COVID in your meeting, I can be sued, and so can the Chamber of Commerce. So I'm staying virtual forever. I'm never going back to face-to-face. And there's a lot of groups that aren't. And I'll get into some of the advantages of it, because I've been doing this now since March. But we'll go into more detail shortly. I just wanted to give you an idea. If you want to know what a networking group is, that's what they look like. That's what they look like. And this is why you should be in a networking group. It's a place to help other people build their business. That's the most important. Most people join networking groups to make sales, and that's the absolute wrong reason to be in a networking group. The number one reason to be in a networking group is to help other people build their business, followed secondly by teaching the members of the group how to become part of your non-commissioned, non-salaried sales force through a proper elevator speech, which I will spend hours working on you and all the members with, is how to craft an elevator speech to teach the other members how to become a salesperson for you that you're not paying. And then the reason most people join the group is actually the least important, which is why it's on the bottom of this list. It's a place to generate business for yourself. If you're going into a network group looking to make sales, then go get a job selling used cars, because that's not a networker. We'll go into more detail on that later. But you got to be going to a network group because you really like helping people. Now, I'm going to show you this picture to know 17 and a half years, 12 or 13 or 1,400 groups I've facilitated went to that. Literally the third week of March, when the Chambers of Commerce called me on the phone and said, hey, you can't have meetings anymore. We have COVID concerns. And I had to make my entire company virtual literally over one weekend. So on the Friday, I was freaking out. And by Monday, I had everything moved over, and I've learned a lot. And I could have offered this, helping other people run virtual networking groups, in April, and just kind of I'm not somebody who looks at a trend and just jumps on it, because I'm not into overnight just following the next flashing object. So I spent the last 10 months studying this, the attendance, how to do it, the efficiency, everything that's needed to run an online group, and pitfalls too. I figured a lot out. So um, that's part of what I'm offering. So the advantages of a virtual networking group, they don't cost. Now my groups cost a third of, for instance, BNI already. So it's a much lower cost. You don't have to drive to the meeting. Your third one down, I don't want to get sued from somebody getting COVID in my meeting. You're not spending money on gas. You're not having wear and tear on your car. And then because I have 6 groups and my wife's in them and I'm in them, I run them. Imagine that you got to get dressed. You got to leave the house. You got to drive. You got to find parking. You got to set up the room. You have to go through the meeting. And then you have to pack everything up. And then you have to come back home. An hour and a half meeting is 3.5, 4 hours. And I have 6 of them. Well, if I'm at home, that's 24 hours. So let's say I cut off, 2.5 hours. I mean, I'm saving 15 hours a month just by having the group. Literally, this is my home office. And then this is the future. Now that people have seen what can be in a virtual meeting, there's a lot of people that don't want to go back. And I'm one of them. Even though for 17 and a half years, I ran them in a conference room, I don't want to go back because of the time savings. So why are you here today? Let's go back to what I said at the beginning. If you've ever said the networking group I'm in is not working, I can't find a good networking group. My networking group meets too often. My networking group costs too much. I don't like the politics in my group. My networking group just sucks. Here's some other things. They meet too early. They meet too often. They have a flawed business model. They have poor leadership. Now, when I say poor leadership, it doesn't, sometimes the training is poor. But one of the other things is a lot of networking groups are run by someone who's not a professional networker. They're run by somebody who has a job, who was taught, and then they run the group for a month or 6 months or a year, but they're not professional networkers. So that sometimes has a little bit of a disadvantage. Some groups don't cost enough. Some groups cost way too much. And then groups that meet weekly at like 7 a.m., that will grind you down into a fine pulp. So, a very high percentage of my members have been in weekly 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. Networking groups. And then after those groups just wear them out, and the politics wear them out, and the cost wears them out, then I get a hold of them and show them the light, show them something that's so much better they wish they would have found it in the first place. So the question for you is, if you are interested in working with me, and I'll explain how it's going to work on doing a virtual networking group anywhere in the world, we can do it. I would prefer the United States or Canada because of the time zones. But really, I can do this for you anyway. I'll go into more detail in a minute. But you have got to love helping people, not selling to people. If you're a salesperson in a networking group, you're not going to have a long tenure in that group. So you got to love helping people, love referring people. So let's go into who I am now. I wanted to give you some details before I went into who I am. This is critically important because if you're going to get mentored by, anytime you hire a coach, a mentor, anything, you really should check their credentials. But I wanted to give you an idea what we're looking at before I gave you my credentials. So my name is Rick Silva, the president and founder of B2B Gathering Inc., a monthly business networking group. The keyword there being monthly. I started B2B Gathering April 1st, 2004. I've been running networking groups since August of 2003. I hate to have this sound like bragging. Everyone's put on this earth to do something, and everyone is put on this earth, and you're probably the best in the world at something. I'm the best in the world at my knowledge and the execution and the facilitating of networking groups. There's no one in the world that knows more about networking groups than me, including the founder of BNI. I facilitated more networking groups probably than anyone in the world my whole life. 17 and a half years. For 10 of those years, it was 80 hours a week teaching networking and facilitating groups. I have 6 groups now because I started partnering with my wife in a real estate business, and that's what made me quite wealthy. So I cut back on the groups. I was able to get to where now I work very, very part-time. And now I want to help other people because I have a big passion for networking groups. I want to help other people have groups and kind of spread the word that that big company out there I keep naming is not the only game in town. And there are networking groups that are much better. And I have one that is much better. I'm a former engineer with Eastman Kodak, and I was a recruiter at Cisco Systems. I have 2 courses on networking and referral generation. I teach networking all over the world. I'm a one-on-one networking coach. I also do a lot of consulting with network marketing companies, real estate offices, financial planners, insurance, mortgage lenders. I bring in most of the business for my wife's real estate business. I was bankrupt and homeless, living in my office in 2008. I got divorced. My house went $300,000 under market. I had to do what's called a deed of trust transfer and hand my house over to my ex-wife. Lived in my office for 7 months, homeless, showered at the gym. Then I met my wife, and we've done quite well since. I took my networking skill and plugged it into her real estate business, and I've been doing that for 10 years. And I'm now I'm in a position where I don't have to work that much, and I'm going to take that time and give it to people like you who might be interested in having your own group. I've just the topic of elevator speech I've studied for over 3,000 hours. I think I've facilitated, I have other people run a lot of my groups. I've facilitated personally over 1,000 meetings, taught well over 22,000 people how to give elevator speeches and teach networking. This is other biggie. You'll learn a lot when you've had over 6,000 one-on-one coffee meetings. Over 6,000 in Starbucks, Pete's, Tully's. Not anymore. It's all virtual now. I've had hundreds and hundreds on GoToMeeting. So I want to share a couple testimonials with you if you don't mind. Because again, a couple things on testimonials. Number one, it builds credibility. I didn't write these. I didn't make them up. And then if you're ever feeling down, like some of you don't know, I had COVID 2 days after Thanksgiving. And brutal. Body pains, the whole thing. I have a video on my YouTube channel, One Referral Away. There's a video there about it. But if anytime you're feeling down or you're just like, I'm really hard on myself, just read some testimonials and make you feel better. So sometimes I might be just doing this to make myself feel better. But I launched this idea a few weeks ago, and this gentleman, Jeremy, posted this under the string. He said, people would have to hate growing the network or dislike money to pass this up. You're a legend. See, I got goosebumps when I didn't write this. This is cool. Somebody else wrote this. I'm a legend. Wow. About 10 years ago, only after investing copious amounts of money on education and excessive time at events learning, you 10x my networking skills. I'll be there. I appreciate your brother. Shine on. So Jeremy, if you're there, in fact, I'm going to click on this button that says comments. If you guys want to make any comments, it should show up on my StreamYard. I appreciate your brother. Shine on. Jeremy, thank you very much. Andy McClure, who has 2 advanced degrees. I don't have any true degrees. I have a little AA degree. They don't teach networking in school. The next 2 people I'm going to show you have very advanced degrees. Andy's got a master's degree and a bachelor's degree. He went to Cornell. I've been working with Rick about a year now on how to go about networking. He totally overhauled the way I do my elevator pitch, taught me how to be more effective out in the business community directly from the coaching I've gotten from Rick. I now have over 6,000 a month in reoccurring business. That testimonial is probably 7, 8, 9 years old, but it's one of my favorites, and I guarantee that 6,000 is way higher than that. Now, this is Dr. Cynthia Stevenson. This is a dentist. Again, they don't teach you networking in school. Rick is amazing. He's very professional. His direct button-down approach is concise, efficient, and effective. I was able to learn new speaking skills in a very short time that has translated to growth 3 times my goal and twice the profitability that I projected in my business plan now, just 4 months into my new practice. That's pretty cool. A couple little funnies for you. May seem like I'm being nice, but I'm actually just networking. We're not gossiping. We're networking. I try networking, but everyone I know is unemployed too. The currency of real networking is not greed, but generosity. So if we just pause there for 1 second, again, like I was saying, you got to really, really like helping people if you want to have success in a networking group. If you're there to make sales, it's not going to be as successful for you. And this is what a network looks like. This is how you should be connected. It kind of looks like a spider web. That's what a network looks like. Let's move right on, get into the differences of B2B and why B2B. So again, there's a before picture of what networking groups used to. Well, Really, I got to back up. Not too many network groups look like mine because they meet in restaurants. The noise, the clanging, the food, people looking for the salt instead of paying attention. My groups have always been in conference rooms, and now they're virtual. But these are some cool pictures, give you an idea. It's family. This is what a networking group looks like. This is the future. I don't ever see it going back to being in the rooms. For me, it never will. But there's what groups look like, all kinds of different pictures, people smiling, having fun, serious business there. So let's talk about a little bit deeper on what networking groups are. There's 4 types. So the biggest groups out there, if it's one industry per category, like if you go to a networking group and there's one real estate agent, one mortgage lender, one financial planner, that's called a hard contact networking group. And that's number 4 on the list. Open groups, business associations, and informal groups would be Rotary, Lions, National Speakers Associations, where you're going to get speaker training, groups that are free. Those fall under 1, 2, and 3, but a hard contact, one industry per category networking group would fall under the biggies out there, the little tips, the BNIs, and Mind B2B Gathering, those types. That's hard contact. One industry per category. People are there to try to help each other get more business. What goes on? We do elevator speeches. We used to hand out business cards and promotional materials. We do that virtually, and I've got some strategies that I created for that. We learn about other people in our industry. We look about what's going on in the community. We get to hear about other events, ribbon cuttings, all kinds of cool things going on in the area. And we get to train our non-commissioned, non-salaried sales force to find business for us. That's our job in a networking group. What makes my groups different? So let me get into how I developed it. In March of 2003, March of 2004, I catered a lunch, found the best networkers I could find. I asked this question: what do you hate about the groups you're in? What do you hate about the networking groups that you're in? I put a digital recorder just like this one on the table, and I hit record. And then the yelling and screaming began. And I took these notes and I crafted what I thought would be a great networking group. So one thing, I'm not a master at marketing, but one thing I know about marketing is you let your audience, you let your market determine what the product should be. So I put the digital recorder down, hit record. What do you guys hate about the groups you're in? These were the complaints. Now, if you're in some of the other big networking groups out there, you might have some of these complaints. They meet too often. They meet too early. I don't like food in a business meeting. These are huge. I could spend an hour on just these 2. So the big networking groups out there, they add up how much people make, and then they put it on their website, and then they go, hey, we're a 900,000, or we're $1 million, or we're a $5 million group. So I've been doing this for 17 and a half years. I've never added up the amount of money that's exchanged. It's not my business. Don't care. Now, where you really get into issues, and some of these industries, they have to step over a line to where they could actually be disbarred or have their licenses removed. Dentists, CPAs, financial planners, attorneys. Those 4 industries are in all networking groups. Here's the thing. When you're in one of the other groups that has tracking and you fill out a piece of paper saying how much money you made. So if, let's just say I'm a bankruptcy attorney, let me back up and just use an example. If I'm a bankruptcy attorney and you gave me a referral in the group, and maybe during thank yous, I said, hey, Nancy, thank you very much for referring your sister. Well, I just told the whole group that your sister's filing for bankruptcy. I could say, hey, Nancy, thank you very much for supporting my practice. Now, that won't get me disbarred, but the first one, if I was an attorney, would get me disbarred. If I'm the same bankruptcy attorney and I got a referral from the group and I start filling out leads forms with how much money I made, I could actually get disbarred. And if you're a financial planner, you could start losing some of your financial licenses for number 1, talking about how much money you make, and number 2, talking about who you're doing business with. You're breaching all kinds of laws and contracts. So my groups are a lot different. So here's mine. My groups meet once a month at 9 a.m. or noon. We do not meet in professional conference rooms anymore. It's all virtual now, so it's no more professional conference rooms. There's never been food. You can have food, but I would prefer you weren't eating during my business meeting. I do not track the leads and referrals. It's embarrassing. Filling out little forms so people can clap to you, make you feel good. I'm running a professional business meeting, not a feel-good group. I'm not a babysitter. So there's no tracking. There's no pressure. The only pressure that's in the group is you should be putting some pressure on yourself to make it a good group and be successful. But other than that, I'm not in the business of filling out forms and adding up how much money people made. It's an embarrassing, it's a blight on the networking industry to be doing that. Now, before I show you the next slide, I'm showing you the pricing of the biggest networking company out there. And let me tell you, they have raised their prices seven times since I made this slide. 7 times in the last 10 years. 9 times since I've been in business. They've raised their prices 9 times. I've raised mine twice. Now, to join those other groups, it's now where I live. Don't know how much it is where you live. Where I live, it's $275 to sign a piece of paper saying you're going to join the group, and then they put your listing on the webpage. Wow. If I did that, I'd have 10 Bentleys. It's $275 to sign a piece of paper to join the group. Food where I live is anywhere from $110 to $200 a quarter. So do that times 4. Used to be $365. Then it went to $375. Then it went to $395. Then it went to $405, $425, $455, $495. Where I live, it's $575 a year, plus the food, plus the registration fee. So in the California Bay Area, I don't know of any group of that big company I keep naming that's, I don't even know any that are less than 1,000, but 954 at the time, up to 1,600. In San Francisco, it's up to 1,700 a year to be in a group. There's one other thing you have to add. If you look at the bottom, that's 78 hours of booty time just sitting in the meeting. Now, if every group's going to run you 3 hours because you got to drive there, drive back, get dressed and all that, you're looking at about 180 to 190 hours a year and $1,500 to be in a networking group. That's crazy. It's way too much. There's mine. No registration fee, no quarterly fees, the yearly fee to be in one of my groups. And if you're running it, we're going to be running it together. So that's the cost. I'll be collecting the money. I'll explain everything to you. I'll handle all the paperwork behind the scenes. You just got to run the group. But it's $395. And by the way, if you're running the group, you're not paying. So this fee is for who joins our group, me and you, our group. $395. And I'm asking for 18 hours. That's 90 minutes once a month. I'm asking for 18 hours. I'm not asking for, and by the way, since it's virtual, it's like, let's say it's 25 or 26 hours instead of 150 hours and a third of the cost. So why B2B? What's in it for B2B? What are we doing here? So 17 and a half years I've been running groups. They're the best in the world. There's none better. I'm a Bentley. I'm a Rolls Royce. The other groups I've been naming, Lexus at best. There's just not a question that my groups are the best in the world. And I'm the best at running them, and I'm the best at teaching it. And I'm going to make you an awesome person who runs groups, and we're going to be great partners if it works out. You and I will have a conversation. We'll talk about it. Get mentorship directly from me, access to me via email. Plus, I'll be doing monthly trainings. Plus, I'll be mentoring the people in the groups, not only mentoring you to make sure everybody's being successful in the group. So all trainings we've recorded, this is being recorded. You'll get a copy of this. Everything I do is recorded. I'll be running the meetings for the first 2 months while we're building it, while I'm training the members and I'm training you to then facilitate it. But I will be handling the billing, all the registration and all the mentoring, everything. I'll be doing it from this chair. Your responsibility, if you do choose to run a group with me, you'll be running the group after 2 months. Let's worry about first things first. I got to train you, and we got to help. We got to get it built, and we got to get people joining the group. I'll handle all of that. What's included, I'll talk to you about when they meet, what are the best days, the times. There's a secret sauce I have that no one in the world knows. It's called the cinnamon roll. It's how you build a group. All other groups are built by sending out a blast and seeing who shows up, or having, hey, membership parties to see who shows up. No, it is an honor to be in one of my groups. And I have a cinnamon roll that teaches you a system on how to build it systematically. I will be helping you with that as you're finding people, and I'm mentoring them and enrolling them. I talk about the top 30 industries in the group. Where are you going to find the people? You might be in a networking group now that stinks. I can help you take it over. I'll facilitate it. I'll re-mentor everybody, and then you'll be running it when I'm done mentoring everybody. I'll handle the billing, like I said, everything behind the scenes. So if you're in a group that's maybe it's free and it's not doing that well, or it's a good group, just it doesn't have good leadership, I will take it over, and we'll revamp it. I've taken over many groups and fixed them up and sent them on their way. How to run the meeting. I'll be handling all the documents, the training, the coaching, webinar training, all of that stuff behind the scenes. Okay. We'll talk about the sweet spot for the group, talk about power partners. You don't know what power partners are. I don't have time to teach it. SOI, sphere of influence, center of influence, circle of influence, person of influence. In the networking world, it's called power partners. Scripting, answer all your questions, any concerns you have access to me. I'll be running the meetings until you're ready. Should take about 2 months or so. I handle all the paperwork. We talked all about that. We got a little bit more to cover here. Don't leave yet, because I got something really exciting for you at the end of this. So just stick with me just a few more minutes. Testimonials. Rick, I'm headed to a coffee meeting and was thinking how grateful I am for your introduction to the world of networking. I've met some great people, been able to help my clients find the help they need, and my business has grown significantly. That's Jay. He's an attorney. I didn't write this, but it makes me feel good. Rick's the greatest business networking coach in the world, bar none. He knows how to take any person that can hear, not just listen, but hear. And following the concepts he teaches, turn them into a marketing and sales powerhouse. I'd like to say I turned them into a networking powerhouse, but I didn't want to change his words. People following his teachings have doubled, tripled, and exploded their business regardless of the state of the economy. Let me just tell you, my wife hates it when I talk about money, but I made $400,000 in 2020 over what I made in 2019, and I lost a month to COVID. And I still made 432 or 33,000 more in 2020 than I did 2021. Just so you guys know, this is live. It's January 14th, 2021, 11:58 a.m. If you're watching this in the future, everything I'm telling you still holds. If you want to do this in a month, in 6 months, and can't tell you I'll be still available in a year. I probably will be. Just email me. I'm about to give you my information, and then you can contact me. I've been going to networking events for years, but the tips Rick Silva taught me completely blew me away. His ingenuity, passion for understanding how people think, and being able to give a clear-cut plan of action empowered me to take my networking to the next level. If you're in business and have not already worked with Rick, you're leaving money on the table. There's so much to learn, and you can improve your networking skills almost overnight by working with Rick. Let me assure you of this. I've met so many people to go, Rick, I'm a networker everywhere I go. I hand out my card. Oh, I connect. Guys, if you're handing out your card, you're a great marketer. That does not make you a great networker. Handing out your business card is marketing. So if you think that's networking, I just fixed that for you. You're a marketer. All right. Skills necessary. You got to be able to command a room. So I had somebody give me a testimony years ago, and he said, Rick, you have the ability to drop a 10-pound velvet hammer like no one I've ever seen. And I'll teach you how to drop a 10-pound velvet hammer. We want to be able to command the room. You know, if people are screwing around on their phone and not paying attention, there are some very nice ways you can kind of pull the group back in. I'll give you the scripting to help kind of control the room. Boy, do you have to have integrity. You better be on time all the time, because if you show up late to the trainings with me, that means you might be showing up late to the networking groups. That means I might not let you run a group. You got to show up on time. You got to have integrity, because people are coming to the group. Now, I'm going to be doing the mentorship and all that, but you got to facilitate it. So you and I have to work together. If you see anything in me you don't like, just drop the webinar now. Because how I'm in business and how I've always done things is, if you and I met face to face, male or female, and if you won't let me hug you, or if you would not invite me over your home for dinner, I do not want to work with you, and I don't want to run a group with you. So if there's anything in me that you see that you don't like, if you don't believe me, if you don't trust me, that's fine. See you later. Because if I feel that, then I'm going to be doing see you later. I've gotten to where I am by having a very good meter on who I trust and who I want to work with. Do you honestly care about seeing other people succeed? Are you always on time, and are you a connector? Now, don't leave yet. I just want to show you this real quick. I have more to show you, a little bit more. We're almost done. This is my contact information. If you want, it's also on the bottom of the screen. So 2 ways to get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me, onereferralaway@gmail.com. That you can see right now on the bottom of the screen, scrolling across the bottom of the screen. That's one way to get a hold of me. I'm going to blow this up real quick so you guys can see it. So one way to get a hold of me is onereferralaway@gmail.com. Another way is rick@b2bgathering.com. So B2B Gathering is the actual networking groups. And then that's my phone number. That's this phone number. It's the only phone number I have. I don't have 27 different phones. This is it. That is my direct line to get Rick Silva. Now, I would prefer you text. I'm not going to answer calls from people I don't know. You can text me over calling, but I prefer you email me at rick@b2bgathering, followed by onereferralaway@gmail.com. Third in line would be texting me at 510-755-4556. If you want to run a group, that's for you. Now, I've got a special offer for you. And then after this, you can contact me anytime you want. You don't have to go to this page right now if you don't want to. You can book. You can just watch it on the replay. You can make a note. I'm going to make you a very special offer because if you want to run a group with me, you have got to be the best networker in the room by far. And I can make you the best networker in your entire city, let alone in the group. But I can't force you to buy this. I can only show it to you, and I can only give you a discount saying you really should get this. So at onereferralaway.com, when you go there, you'll see this box right here. Okay. It says One Referral Away Essentials course. That course is 8 or 9 hours long, 12 modules. And when you click this button, you'll see a write-up on the virtual networking course. Here are all the lessons. Each one's anywhere from 22 minutes to 35 or 40 minutes each. Those are the modules. And you'll see right here, there's a button as you scroll down. There's a button. And if you click this button right here that says $7.95, it takes you to this. Okay, now I want to offer you a little discount for watching this all the way through. The only way you'd even know about this is if you watched it all the way through. There's a button right there here that says have coupon. You click that button and you enter the number 200. And then you click apply. And it takes the price down to $5.95. Okay. And then you click purchase and you enter your credit card information and you're going to get that training. Now, some of you who've recently purchased this course, you might have purchased it at $7.95. If you've purchased it in the last few weeks, then you're going to get 2 hours of one-on-one coaching instead of 1 hour. Okay. So purchase this at $5.95. Not only are you getting all that training, you're getting 1 hour of one-on-one, just me and you, one-on-one coaching on top of having, it's around 8 or 9 hours of training from me. Okay. So again, One Referral Away, click the coupon button, enter 200. It's $595. Monthly coaching, elevator speech coaching. You send me your elevator speech. I videotape myself doing your elevator speech so you can get the cadence down, the wording, and I send you a copy of the video and you'll have text access to me. Whew. Hey, that's it. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, actually what we'll probably do is do a little group webinar. And if you're watching this on replay, then it probably will be one-on-one. Answer all your questions about how to partner with me on having a once a month virtual B2B gathering group. Number one way, email me, rick@b2bgathering.com. Number 2 way is onereferralaway@gmail.com. Number 3 is text me at 510-755-4556. Thank you very much for getting on. Want to run a group with me? Let me know. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.